This review is of the Tao of tea. Now, organic, natural, pure teas, and this is organic Savoureaux red iced tea. It's a black tea with high caffeine, best with iced. It's a full-bodied, full-bodied, bold flavor. It's got an aroma of Turbinado. The season you're supposed to be drinking it apparently is summer because they want you to serve it iced. Origin Assam and Nilgiris, India, and there are 6 iced tea sachets in here that are for 1 gallon of water each. So, as you'll see, they're big. There is a quality promise, although it doesn't explain what the promise is, and they are in Portland, Oregon. And here's some more information, and some more information, and guessing by the name Virinder S. Chawla, this person is Indian. Keeping in mind, tea came from China, not from India. The British stole it from China and grew it in India and other places because they had crappy tasting water and they wanted to cover up the flavor. Just like they had crappy tasting food in that kept on going bad in Europe, and so they used spices to cover up the flavors. Okay, so there's information on the bottom here as well. I want you to pay close attention to this one. It says, our tea bags are biodegradable. Great. Individually packaged in recyclable foil envelopes and printed with water-based inks. I don't know what this water-based ink thing is that they're talking about, because there is no individual foil envelope. There's just this plastic envelope in which all of the bags are. But it's really long, so you can fold it over. And as you can see, it's a very large bag. It's as big as my palm is. So I have got lots of tea to drink out of just one bag, which, normally you can get 2, sometimes 3 cups, depending on the brand, of tea out of one bag. And this does come with Brewing Instructions plus 4 easy iced tea recipes. So we have the brewing suggestions here, and then milky almond tea, orange cassia and peppermint, smashed raspberry tea soda, as well as sweet rose and ginger. I think that's fantastic that they provided a bunch of different, 4 different recipes, I should say. I did this a little bit differently than their instructions. I didn't happen to have a glass pitcher for the tea. So what I did was I boiled up a small amount of water, and I put it in here with the bag, and I let it steep for a few minutes. Then I filled up my pitcher, which is over there, and I transferred the contents, including the bag, from my mug to the pitcher, and added some ice to cool it off, because this is supposed to be an iced tea, but right now I'm in the middle of winter, so yeah. And then I poured myself a cuppa, not a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. Come on, guys, get with it. All right, I'm gonna have to stir this up, so hold on a sec. Now I have kind of mixed feelings because, not mixed feelings. I guess one of the things I find a little bit confusing is there's an easy access flap you can punch out right here. This was sealed with a circular sticker that I think you can kind of see there. But underneath there are 2 quotes. So, well, we can, I guess, if you don't care about the quotes, you can just open the easy access flap here and grab your tea bags that way, except for the fact that they're in this giant bag. So it's really impractical, because if you want to keep the bag of tea fresh, you can't just leave the flap open and hope you can get a tea bag out of there. It isn't going to work. It's not a practical solution at all. That's because they stopped using the aluminum or the foil envelopes. But so what I did differently is this one says boil a gallon. I didn't boil a gallon. turn off heat, add pouch, and remove from burner. Obviously, I didn't do that exactly the same either, but I did pour the hot water onto the pouch. And then you let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes. Now, for some reason, and I'm sure this is because of volatile chemicals in tea, they don't recommend boiling the water with the tea bag in it. As I've heard this many times now. So after you let it steep, you add sugar. So while it's still hot, and then you cool it off or let it go to room temperature. In other words, before you put it into the refrigerator. So I didn't do that. What I did instead was, again, I took the hot cup of tea and poured it into the container that was almost full already with tap water from the faucet. That's just cold tap water, and added 4 cubes of ice. So, and I didn't put any sugar in it because I've had this experience where putting sugar in while the tea bag is in there, it tends to create a problem. And indeed, it doesn't even say in here when to remove the pouch. But I've noticed that the sugar tends to, or it seems to me anyways, in my experience, that the sugar inhibits the infusion of the tea into the water. And I guess that would be because of reduced capacity, I guess you could say, of the diffusion of the contents of the tea into the water from points of higher pressure or concentration to points of lower concentration, which is called diffusion. Smells like tea. Now I did put like 2 heaping teaspoons of sugar in here. It's still kind of mild flavored. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this mild, but it is a pleasant flavor. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to grab a little bit without sugar so I can tell you what that tastes like. Alright, chocolate is always the answer except for when it's causing you health problems. So let's try it without the sugar this time. Yeah, it just tastes like a mild tea. I'm not sure why it's not stronger, if I just didn't let it steep long enough. But to me, this is a mildly flavored tea. It just tastes like black tea. Perhaps later on, after it's been sitting for a while longer, it'll have a stronger flavor. But at this point, it's okay. I mean, I don't like a strong black tea. When it gets to that point where the bitterness is really, I don't steep my tea long enough for that to happen. And I hate it when I go to a restaurant and they serve me really strong tea. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.